Hello everyone, Sableye here and welcome back to the channel. Today we are here featuring more post-match analysis for you guys, this time versus Jamie Kean of the United Kingdom, once again for the World Cup of VGC. This is actually week 2 of the group stages this time, so Team Canada once again looking to secure another W. However, we got a matchup in front of us and let's focus on that more importantly, because that's why we're here, okay? So Jamie's going to be rocking that team of Urshifu Dark, Hisuian Arcanine, Fluttermane, Gothitelle, Ogerpon, Water, and Rillaboom. Of course, you guys can see my team on the screen with the Roaring Moon balance stuff. Nothing too crazy. Very similar to what Paul Tua has used back at the Toronto Regionals a couple weeks ago. But more importantly, let's talk matchup. Let's talk my thoughts. Right now, my big thing is here. I really want to see if I can find a way to bring Landorus, because Landorus is an incredibly strong piece into this game. However, I'm a little shaky bringing it game 1, because bringing it game 1, I could end up leading it into something like Goth, Ogerpon. They could tear the Ogerpon. I'm in a lot of trouble. So I really want to see how they want to maneuver their team first. So I'm going to go along the lines of something like Fluttermane, Amoonguss. And it ends up being just one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I want to just get some good damage out, you know? Let's start putting out some damage. Did I actually not put Fluttermane? No, I definitely went Flutteramoonguss. I definitely went Flutteramoonguss. Ignore whatever I'm doing over there. I was pretty nervous for this match because Team Canada was down 0-1 at the time, so I definitely wanted to help be the reason we pulled this week back. But, of course, as you can see, some very, very, very large indecisiveness from my end. But it's not an easy match, right? It's a matchup that I definitely have the tools to win, because these balanced teams, they tend to have tools to win everything. But there's never going to be that you do this, this, and this, and you're probably going to win. Yes, sometimes you're going to get that, but the team is not built to just like steamroll players, right? It's meant to be adapting to the game, see what's going on, and go from there. So we're going to get game 1 in here going for you guys. They do go with the Gothitelle Fluttermane, and this was a huge reason why I wanted to lead this in the Amoonguss and the Fluttermane, because my Fluttermane can pivot around. I can start recycling. I can pressure some spores, force maybe a fake out into like a Rocky Helmet Amoonguss right now, which would feel incredible to get some chip on the Gothitelle. And, you know, it just makes a lot of sense here. So right now, I don't think Fluttermane has ever a reason to lock in to any sort of Shadow Ball or any sort of Moonblast, sorry. So I'm expecting maybe a Shadow Ball or some sort of Power Gem or a Switch Out. So I'm going to bring my Iron Hands in here, relatively what I consider to be safe. And from there we'll be okay, because like regardless of what the Fluttermane does, like I said, they're not going to be Moonblasting that slot. It would be a very aggressive read if they did. I didn't expect that to happen in game 1. If they do call that in game 1, I can adapt game 2, right? But they're just going to simply go for the standard play, what I was expecting, fake under the Rocky Helmet, and I do see the Shadow Ball thankfully, and Iron Hands eats that pretty well. And now we kind of have a problem. And that problem is, and I didn't realize this when I was going for that first turn, is now I'm stuck on the field with an Iron Hands and an Amoonguss, which, not the best, not what you really want to see in front of a Gothitelle and a potential Arcanine switching from the Fluttermane, because that Fluttermane is not staying on the field locked into Shadow Ball right now. It's just never going to happen. So the Fluttermane is going to go off the field. I was just basically looking to break the trap sooner rather than later here, so I went after the Gothitelle. Could have maybe tried to capitalize on the Arcanine switch in, but I didn't think it mattered, right? I was looking for the fake out pressure, didn't really want to take too much psychic damage. So they're going to just protect. My fake out's going to go into the protect, and I'm going to obviously just heal up my Iron Hands. Just want to keep myself on the field, right? At the time, right, it's a matter of I need to keep myself on the field as long as possible. I'm going to be stuck on the field, but maybe if I can make myself difficult to take down, it puts me in a pretty strong option. So now I got to start hitting the Pokemon that's going to exert pressure. And right now that's the Arcanine. So I can threaten a Spore over there. A Flare Blitz from a Safety Goggles Arcanine is not going to kill my Amoonguss unless they double my Amoonguss, which I think is a very obvious read. I'm expecting this Arcanine to maybe try and set up for something like a Howl and go after my Amoonguss on the following turn after I've protected here and they can get the free kill. So I'm trying to play into that. And we are going to see exactly what they go for here. There's not really, I don't have to be scared of Gothitelle. Psychic is going to hurt over time, but it's not going to bother me in the exact moment, right? And you're going to see the Urshifu come on in for this Gothitelle, and I could not have been happier that I have clicked Spore into that slot right now. They are going to Howl. That is a very, very strong Howl from their end, by the way. Just trying to get that Urshifu, right? They're expecting my Amoonguss to protect there. I had no intentions of protecting my Amoonguss because I felt pretty safe. If they double me, I get my switch in. Generally speaking, I kind of want it to be off the field anyways. And if I get my switch in, then I'm no longer really not doing damage because I can get Fluttermane or my Heatran on the field, right? And now we feel pretty good about this, right? Now I have a pretty safe switch into Heatran here. You know they're probably going to want to get rid of my Amoonguss with a Flare Blitz if they go for that. They might just target the other slot, but I don't really care. The Heatran needs to come onto the field. So I'm going to bring my Heatran in for the Amoonguss. This Urshifu has a guaranteed turn of sleep right now. It is, in fact, by the way, Black Glasses, Swords Dance Urshifu, so I do have to kind of tiptoe around that fairly well, but this play feels fairly straightforward, right? I've got Drain Punch pressure into the Arcanine. I've got a potential Heatran switching into a very obvious Flare Blitz here to get the Heat Wave boost. Right, it's just this is a pretty scripted play. Jamie can easily probably call me out on it. Nothing too crazy going on, but the Ursh is a guaranteed turn of sleep. I'm just trying to pivot around to a little bit more pressure. Well, I still can pivot around to a little bit more pressure. Ursh is going to commit its Terra incredibly early, not wanting to take the Drain Punch from my Iron Hands. Given the fact that my Iron Hands is -1, however, I don't know if it was a great Terra Poison, because now I can just Earth Power, right? And we're gaming. We do get burned by that Flare Blitz on the Arcanine, and that is really going to set us back for the rest of this game 1. But like I said, Ursh is going to take that dedicated turn of sleep right there, and because of the Flare Blitz recoil, the Drain Punch is still going to get rid of Arcanine. I was looking at my endgame being Amoonguss and Redirect. I knew they were mono Dark move on the Urshifu, so I'm able to just go Terra Fairy with the Heatran here. Now my concern with going Terra Fairy onto Heatran becomes the fact that, oh my goodness, like Wicked Blow is still shredding me, and then they also have the Moonblast, right? They can go for that Specs Flutter Mane, and once I remove my weakness to it, like my resistance to the Flutter Mane, the Moonblast is going to shred me, right? Obviously it's not going to quite kill me, but I am not the bulkiest of Heatrans. I am a Life Orb Heatran variant. There's not a whole lot I can really do here. This is one of those ones where I kind of just need to start putting pressure on. We're going to go Earth Power. We're going to go Wild Charge. Like I said, they're asleep. Let's try to take advantage of it. We're going to get faked out by something right now. There's not a huge secret or anything along those lines. And nothing crazy going on here right now, guys. It's really just, can I leverage the rest of this game? Can I get the sleep turns that I need to maybe win these next few turns right now? Kind of one of these like dull middle points in the game where, yes, the positioning is still happening, but like every turn right now is kind of scripted. There's no like big reads that I need to make. Not like I can switch. They have a Gothitelle on the field, right? So like a lot of things that I can actually go for here are limited. Now, here's where the thing comes into play. This is where who do I target becomes a real question. I wanted to Heavy Slam, but I'm burned anyways, so I think I just Earth Power over into Ursh and go for a Wild Charge into presumably either the Gothitelle or the Flutter Mane switch, and it was the safest play. The damage I'm doing with Iron Hands being burned right now is not that good, is not that strong. Obviously, if I wasn't burned, I could have maybe done a little bit more and tried to call this switch in, because Heavy Slam would have actually maybe killed a non-bulky Flutter. But of course, Urshifu is going to actually wake up, is going to get the Detect off, and Heatran's going to go Earth Power. So one thing I didn't point out, the turn they went for Fake Out into my Heatran, they did reveal that my Heatran was actually faster than their Urshifu, which I think is incredibly ridiculous. I'm not that fast of a Heatran, guys, okay? I'm really not that fast of a Heatran. This is kind of dumb. Here I make a questionable play, right? I figure, you know what? I'm faster with Heatran. They kind of have, if they want to kill Heatran, they have to commit to the double up. But after the Wild Charge chip, I feel like there's more pressure for me to maybe protect my Heatran, and they don't really want to go after me. I don't think they really want to Sucker Punch. We've revealed that I'm faster. Maybe they weren't paying enough attention to that. Thankfully, we don't see that Sucker Punch, and Heatran gets that special attack dropped, and that is going to keep their Urshifu alive, and that is where this game takes a turn. The Wicked Blow comes out, does now decimate my Heatran, so I do get a Amoonguss in for free, but at what cost? I got a Amoonguss on the field. But at what cost? This is where I think I messed up the game. This needs to be me bringing back in Flutter Mane here. And I think I went Iron Hands. Oh, I did bring Flutter. Never mind. Hey, you know, sometimes in this post-game analysis, you think the game played one way, and like the game actually played another way. So here we go. We do get the Flutter Mane in. I still think I messed up this turn by going for Rage Powder. And did I what? Rage Powder. What did I click? I Rage Powder Dazzled, right? I'm pretty confident I just clicked Rage Powder Dazzle, caught the Gothitelle on switch, and an Urshifu Protect. Is what I'm expecting to see here. Flutter Mane does go out, and we are going to get this damage going. And I'm not confident in this damage calc. I don't know how much Dazzling Gleam from Specs Fluttermane is actually doing to this Urshifu. This is where I toss the game on the future turns here, because we're going to get a nice little Dazzling Gleam, some decent chip damage into this Goth. I believe we crit it as well. This is where locking Shadow Ball would have been just the correct play, but I wanted to get my spread damage. I want to see the speed tiers of these Fluttermanes, because that's really realistically what I'm looking for here. I don't know what I was cooking here. I believe I made a switch of Fluttermane, which was just never the play. I don't know what I was going for with this Spore and this swap into Iron Hands. I was maybe expecting some sort of sucker, but I don't know what I was going for here. They were never going to sucker punch at this point. This has to be a redirect Dazzling Gleam. I have zero reason not to redirect Dazzling Gleam. I feel like this is one of those cases where I got that special attack drop, and I'm playing a little bit tilted right now. Just looking back at it post-game, because that is never the play here. The play is constant. I guess they can fake out. Right. I was worried about fake out and the sucker punch. Right. But I mean, I still don't think it's ever the right play, because I could just live a sucker punch. I do get it right. But at what point am I actually gaining anything here? Here I go for Spore into Gothitelle. I'm reading an Urshifu Protect, because I don't expect them to just give me fake out Spore. I really do not expect them to give me fake out Spore for free. I would be shocked if they would go for that. I have the fake out pressure. The problem is, reading that, I actually excuse me, I actually end up tossing the game, because by reading the fake out Spore, by reading them protecting on my fake out Spore, I actually allow their Urshifu to get a free double up into my Amoonguss, and that Amoonguss does survive on 11, but the follow-up attack from the Gothitelle is going to close out the game. You see the Psychic come out, and the problem now is I could have made a different call and made a safer play of just heavy slamming. I think fake out Spore is the correct play. But if I decide to not fake out Spore, and I expect them to read the fake out Spore, the extra chip damage I'm getting on Gothitelle right there is not enough to warrant any point in doing it. Whereas I should be clicking Heavy Slam into the Urshifu, because if I get the call wrong, at least I'm getting the kill into you know what I mean? I'm killing the Ursh, and then my Fluttermane may just be faster than their Fluttermane and win me the game. The Ursh would be gone. And if the Ursh is protecting, then I don't really lose any ground, because Amoonguss is still on the field. Right? I still don't understand why they didn't protect there. I do think protect is just their correct play, and I think I was in a bad spot from the get-go before that, but I did try to hard read something. Just didn't work. That is a very smart protect from their Gothitelle, just keeping things alive for a little bit. Fluttermane manages to survive the +1 sucker punch on 6 HP, which this game would have 100% been sealed. Like, this game would have been sealed, but now the problem becomes we are not in a spot where our Dazzling Gleam can kill their Fluttermane. Once again, you could maybe blame the burn on our Iron Hands for not, because the turn that they switched it in for the wild charge, it would have done a whole lot more and would have put it in range of a Dazzling Gleam. But the fact of the matter is, I had opportunities to take this game after that special attack drop. I had opportunities to take this game just outright without worrying about the fact that, oh, my Heatran got special attack drop. So I definitely needed to ignore that, and I definitely needed to find a way to regroup and reset. But this game at this point is over. We're going to go for the Dazzling Gleam, and we pray we quit. We pray we crit. Say that 4 times fast. Can't be me. Anyways, Dazzling Gleam comes out. A crit might have actually gotten there. It might have just missed. But like I said, this Fluttermane is going to be faster than Iron Hands. I don't have enough HP to win this game. Dazzling Gleams comes out. And you know what that means? It's time to get into game 2. So going into game 2, my thought process was I wasn't really broke. Well, like my game plan wasn't really broken. If I can kind of run things back, there's nothing necessarily wrong with my game plan unless they make an adaptation, which I do kind of expect them to make, because I think they start realizing that as well, right? Jamie's a good enough player to realize that, hey, yes, I won the game, but that could have gone a whole lot differently. I think Jamie's the type of person to also attack and figure out and just jump on my lead, but I wasn't comfortable enough changing my lead just because I thought maybe they were going to change their lead. I still felt like my lead was going to be capable of getting me out of scenarios that I was in, so we ran it right back with the same set of 4 Pokemon. Once again, I still want to bring Landorus here, right? I still want to bring Landorus. I just don't think I committed enough right now in this game 2. I really needed to commit more to bringing Landorus. It just felt like the better play in my opinion, and it's a little bit of a shame that I didn't commit to it. But I just don't see what they're going to go for here. Like, they could adapt. I still think Ogerpon wants to be brought on their end, especially if I'm going, and if I'm leaning on, like, Amoonguss, Heatran, Fluttermane, they can bring Ogerpon, right? If I am banking on that, they can 1000% bring Ogerpon. There is no doubt in my mind they can bring that if they wanted to. So, a little bit of a questionable spot, right? I still think I want to bring Lando here, but Arcanine, Ogerpon, and this right here, this lead right here, is the lead that is detrimental to the lead that I led, right? I was banking on them not going for this in game one when I led it. I didn't think they would bring it in game one. This is more of an adaptation lead, right? You bring this kind of lead after you adapt to what's going on, right? So, not in necessarily a terrible position, but not in the best of spots either. So what we want to do now is get to a spot where I can somehow maneuver my Heatran onto the field and get some damage out. I decided to just launch attacks into Ogerpon because I didn't think they were going to Terra here, because they want to continuously ignore my Amoonguss's redirect. So they're going to drop the Ivy Cudgel. Thankfully, they didn't double my Amoonguss because that could have gone bad. But they do go Ivy Cudgel, Flare Blitz, drop my Fluttermane immediately on turn 1, which is just not it. That is never a good thing to see. You never want to see that, right? Arcanine takes a little bit of recoil, but that's negligible in the whole grand scheme of things. And Ogerpon alive on 2 HP. And if nothing else, it does allow this turn to be fairly scripted, right? You're gonna see Jamie click Spiky Shield on Ogerpon every single day of the week, so I'm gonna hard call that, and I'm gonna go after the Arcanine once again with a Drain Punch. And just in case I get it wrong, I'm gonna cover for it and go for the nice little Pollen Puff, because Ogerpon needs to go down. The Ogerpon being on the field is limiting my Heatran from pulling this game all the way back. Ogerpon, there it is. There's the Spiky Shield, which I was fully expecting to see. And Arcanine is going to correctly Howl. Once again, maybe looking to figure, hey, my Amoonguss can't really do much here. If they do catch me going for the Fake Out, that is an incredible play. Like I said, I was not going for that. I was trying to kill this Arcanine right there, because that Spiky Shield was very straightforward to me. And guess what? The Arcanine survives on 2. I am in a very bad spot, simply off of lead, simply off of both of their Pokemon surviving turns here. And this is where, how do I find a way to win this? So, I'm Terra Water on my Iron Hands right now, and my concern now is, in my opinion, this is Horn Leech and Flare Blitz into my Iron Hands, and I think that should get the knockout. Because Amoonguss doesn't scare them. If they go Horn Leech, they get enough health back, right? It's not really a problem. I think that should be their play from their end, is what I'm expecting here. So I don't bother terraing. I just say, hey, let's launch attacks. I'm pretty far back here, but maybe we can do something. They do go Ivy Cudgel, maybe trying to expect the Heatran switch in. I did almost switch in Heatran, decided not to. But you guys are going to see Rocky Helmet, Recoil, whatever you want to call it, take down that Arcanine after it just absolutely decimates my Amoonguss. Which is never a good thing. So Arcanine's going to do that. We're going to get a Drain Punch here for the little bit of like 5 HP we're going to get back into this Ogerpon. And now we're actually kind of still in this game. So I don't think I played this game too very well at all. I think my lead was off. I think everything about this game and my game plan going into this was terrible. It just was never good. And the question now becomes, how do I make sure that I can duplicate this moving forward? How can I somehow close this game out? Because I still have a Heatran, I still have Terra at my disposal. However, they still have Terra as well. My Heatran walls out both pieces, right? They don't have close combat. I don't have to Terra my Heatran right now. This is actually very winnable. And I have to make the call right now of which one of their Pokemon is going to Terra. My brain, I said the Urshifu is going to go Terra Poison, because it makes more sense for the Urshifu to Terra Poison here, because I don't think Fluttermane needs to. Because if the Urshifu just goes Poison, they can ignore my Iron Hands for a turn and get after my, and just double up the Heatran. Because if I Terra or not, they know they get the kill with a Moonblast plus a Terra plus a Wicked Bow probably. It's just, and I got the Terra wrong because Jamie makes a good play here by going Terra Fairy. It's probably the better play as well, but like I said, my thought process was they were going to Terra Poison again. That was a little bit tunnel visioned. They do go for the Terra Fairy. They do go Moonblast, and they do blow up. They do straight up decide, I'm going to blow up your Iron Hands. If I would have Terra Fairy right here, I would be in such an incredible position. However, I didn't. Like I said, I did double the Flutter Mane. I wanted this Flutter Mane off the field. It needs to go. That's the piece that I couldn't really beat. Flutter Mane does go down. The problem, however, is I didn't Terra my Heatran. And now this Wicked Blow is going to come out and do way too much damage right now. So once again, farther revealing that Heatran is probably just faster than their Urshifu right here. And that takes me all the way down to 42 HP. At this point, I could try to call them going for Sucker Punch because I am very clearly in Sucker Punch range. But given the fact that their Urshifu is not faster than the Urshifu is slower than me, chances are it has some bulk. Life Orb Heatran, despite Heat Wave being single target, is not going to pick up this KO right now. There is no world in which I'm getting this knockout with Life Orb Heatran. It's just not going to happen. So they don't need to go for Sucker Punch. So I don't need to call those Sucker Punch mind games, right? I do just launch the Heat Wave. Heat Wave comes on out, and Urshifu decides to fall because Urshifu decided it was time to get crit. Okay, Urshifu decided it was gonna crit. Heatran, you know, you just tell Heatran you love it by putting a little heart on its head, and it works out. So we're gonna get into game 3 for you guys. Here in team preview, heading into game 3, and my thought process now is I am angry. I tilted out of game 1, played kind of poorly after I got the special attack drop there. Game 2, I played like garbage and got bailed out. I need to actually turn this around. I've been given a chance to win this set. It's time to get angry and actually prove that I know how to play this game. Decide to keep Amoonguss on the bench. I say finally time to bring Landorus. I know what they're doing. Landorus puts on a lot of pressure immediately into their mind games right now on turn 1. Can't ask for much more than that outside of mind games. This is what I'm looking to do. It also gives me a lot of things. I'm just faster than everything, right? And I think seeing that I'm just faster than everything allows me to force them into scenarios where maybe, hey, they're going to protect the long slot. They're going to target the wrong slot. Maybe they can't Terra everything sort of thing, right? They can't protect everything. They can't Terra everything. This is time where I get angry. I make what my opinion is the correct adjustment, probably in what I should have been doing all along by having Landorus here. I think Landorus, like I said from game 1 team preview, Landorus is good. It was a matter of finding a way to bring it. I did not play game 2. I should have adjusted game 2, but for whatever reason, I was a little biased after game 1. I was like, oh, I lost only because I misplayed after getting a special attack drop. But I needed to make the correct adjustment in game 2. I didn't, got bailed out, managed to pull a game 3, and now it's time to win. Now I am angry. It is time to get things going. So now I have a question of what is the optimal play from the Landorus? What is the optimal play from the Ogerpon? Now the Ogerpon is -1. So I'm pretty comfortable just surviving and sitting in front of it unless it decides to click Terra. Now what I'm going to do is I think that Arcanine is not going to protect. Arcanine actually cannot protect. Arcanine cannot protect, and the question is, does it go Terra Normal? I don't think Terra Normal is ever the play coming out from Arcanine. And I also don't think that Jamie ever, after the first few turns, I don't think Jamie is expecting me to say, I'm just going to launch a Stomping Tantrum into this Arcanine. The way I've been playing this game, I've played NPA tournaments with Jamie before, right? So I feel like using the knowledge that I have right here, I am under the impression that that Jamie on the other side is saying, hey, there's no way he's launching a Tantrum here. He is going to U-turn. He's going to try and get off the field. But unfortunately for Jamie, I decided to just click Stomping Tantrum and blow back this Arcanine in a second. And I do see the Terra proc is like, yo, Jamie make the Terra Normal call. That's pretty impressive. But like, they do go for the Terra Water, which I think is still the correct play because they do not want to get Moonblasted U-turn and lose that piece, right? I pressure a KO into both pieces right now simply because I'm just faster. Get the call right. Arcanine goes down. Get a big ol' Moonblast out here into their Urshifu, into their Ogerpon, and Ivy Cudgel is going to come out. But once again, they're -1. They might get the Lando, but I see that Ogerpon turn slightly, hits into the Flutter Mane, and we're going to get a similar damage calc to what we had game 1. And Flutter Mane now hits the field, stays on the field, and is very, very much so alive. Now it's once again more 50-50s because, like I said, I'm the faster piece. And once again, I feel the way I've played this game, how safe I've played the first few turns of every single game, I don't think Jamie is calling this and going for Sucker Punch here. I am just going to take my damage. If I double into a Protect, it's not the end of the world because I still have Terra Fairy Heatran. We actually see the Ogerpon Protect. Maybe Jamie anticipating a switch out for Maya. Maybe Jamie anticipating some sort of just like I said, my Flutter Mane switching out, maybe expecting me to expect the Urshifu Protect as I double into Ogerpon. I think that's a very valid play from their end, right? But they definitely overread that. Like I said, I like playing sometimes just switching gears and turning into like, quote unquote, like a just going insane in game 3, because like they've scouted me out those first few games. I was playing incredibly safe, making the optimal switches, and then I just decided to say, nah, we're just gonna go crazy and just get damaged. Here I just wanted damage into Flutter Mane because I have Terra in the back. Once I get the damage into Flutter Mane, we're more than fine. Did I actually decide to Terra my... I might have Terra'd here. Did I? Did I actually lock that? Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way I locked that. There is zero way I locked that, right? My game concept there was, I'm going to double the Ogerpon, because unless they're double protecting, it's fine. Like I said, I have the 2 faster pieces. We've seen how much damage I've been outputting. This should be more than enough to kill the Ogerpon and allow Heatran to seal the deal. There we go. We get the double up into the just protected Ogerpon. It has to follow me to try to keep the Flutter Mane alive. Not going to happen, and this is me getting angry and saying, hey, I've played so safe, and now I'm going to capitalize on the fact that you're going to expect me to play safe again. And that's what got me those first 2 turns. I don't think those first 2 turns ever happen. If this is a best of 1 and this was the first game, those 2 turns never happen, right? That is me trying to read Jamie, trying to read me. And I got them right, is all that is, right? Like, I was playing safe, and then I decided to play aggressive, and it just caught Jamie off guard, in my opinion. Now, once again, Jamie could definitely be thinking other things, but from my perspective, that's what this was. And like I said, the shift of gears, like I said, I was rewarded that chance. That shift of gears between the gameplay styles going into game 3 of just allowing me to just get aggressive. I was taking a lot of risks, but those risks played out because I was banking on him expecting me to once again play safe like I did in games 1 and game 2. So with that, we are going to take the set this time, and you know, honestly, just a really good set of Pokemon. Did get super lucky in game 2. Got to take those when you get them. Unfortunately, like I said, I got a little unlucky in game 1, but I still should have won. So I'm not going to blame luck for losing game 1. They got a little lucky game 1. I got very lucky game 2. We got gifted with the game 3, and I managed to adapt correctly and take the W. But really good set to Jamie. Best of luck to UK moving forward in the World Cup. And of course, with that, guys, I'm going to stop rambling. If you guys, once again, do enjoy these types of videos, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I don't know why I keep messing up my outro, but I really would appreciate it. It does help with the channel. But with that, I'm going to stop rambling now, and I will catch you all in a future video.